Hearing number 8221 is being conducted pursuant to Section 26.100.030 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. This hearing is continued from the last hearing, date of June 26, 2018. The purpose of the hearing is to determine whether the conditional use permit issued to N&A Market CO Yosef Amor Nia Ali to occupy 4300 Chippewa as a convenience store with cooking and no liquor, subject to certain conditions, should be revoked. The conditional use permit is numbered as 123644. The conditions in question are as follows. Condition 5. There shall be no sale of items that can be used or intended for use as drug paraphernalia as determined in Ordinance 68404 or its successor ordinances, including but not limited to food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling paper, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substrates, substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there shall be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used or adapted for the use involving a controlled substance, examples of which include but are not limited to the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swisher Sweets, Splitterillos, Backwoods, Optimo, Garcia and Vega, and Game. Condition 6. There should be no temporary signage off or on premise or posted to the exterior, interior of the windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. And Condition 7. The applicant must apply for and receive a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division before posting permanent signage, and permanent signage must be approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator before installation. The Office of the Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. After all evidence of the Zoning Administrator has been presented, the Board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then the conditional use holder will be given the opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the Board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. Your testimony is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the Board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of this Board may have questions for you. Following the hearing, the Board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the Board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on the hearing. The Board will notify the conditional use holder of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents, which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1, a certified copy of the zoning code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2, the conditional use permit numbered as 123644 issued to N&A Market CO Yosef Amar and CO Nayaz Ali to occupy 4300 Chippewa as a convenience store with cooking, no liquor, subject to certain conditions. Item 3, a letter dated June 29, 2018, sent to N&A Market, CO Yosef Amar, and CO Nayaz Ali from the zoning inspector warning of the violations of the conditions that were found upon a recent site inspection and the potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days of the date of the letter. Item 4, a memorandum dated August 1, 2018 from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator, stating that upon that date, the zoning inspector found violations of conditions numbered 5, 6, and 7 of the conditional use permit. The memo includes photographs of the noted violations. Item 5, public notices for today's hearing. And item 6, certified letters dated September 4, 2018, sent to N&A Market, CO Yosef Amar, and CO Nayaz Ali from the Board Secretary, providing notice of the hearing, which was tabled until today's date. At this time, the Board asks a representative of the Office of the Zoning Administrator to please come forward and be sworn in.
So help me God. My name is Myra Turner. I'm zoning inspector for the city of St. Louis.
Can you please tell the board about the possible violations or conditions in question?
Sure. First, let me apologize because I just realized that my second page to my report is not here, so you will get that, but it's not here. And still have violations of 5. And on those violations, they took out all of the big packages, but then what they did, they started selling individual cigars. So they have individual cigars there, and they still have roll papers there, and they still have some of the smaller boxes of cigars there, so they still have them. And number 6, the signage. I was able to only find one permit, and that was the permit for the non-illuminated sign that's out front. However, they still have the signage that's covering the windows and the doors, and they still have a teether out front, and so they still have signage that does not have a permit. And number 7, which is on my second sheet, which is having a permit, they only have one permit, and that's for the non-illuminated sign that's on the pole that's out front. None of the other signs have permit.
Okay. So in general, we still have violation of condition number 5, number 6, and number 7, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Questions from the board? Thank you very much.
Okay.
At this time, the board asks a representative from the Department of Health to please come forward and be sworn in. Please note for the record, the inspector from the Department of Health is not present at today's hearing. If there's anyone else present who wishes to testify that the noted conditions have not been complied with, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none. The board asks the conditional use permit holder to please come forward and be sworn in.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do, so help me God.
State your name for the board.
Niaz Ali.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I do agree with everything you guys talked about. This is the first business that I owned, and I was here when we actually got the hearing the first time and got everything. The situation was that I did not run the store. My partner Yusuf did. And the first June letter that came in, it mentioned the violations and the things that Yusuf have done there. I never received it. That's why in August I called and I did receive that one. We took out all the blunts, swishers, everything. That entire 2 racks are empty, so I'm really not sure what single items. I have one of my employees here, just in case, because I'm not at the store all the time. He manages the store for me. Now, as far as the temporary sign that Yusuf put on, as soon as I got the letter on August, I took it off right away. So that temporary sign is not there. The only issue that currently that I'm known of is the big sign, the mesh window sticker that is on there. And I've been going forward since August 1st until now with the city, trying to get a permit for it. But they keep telling me it's too big of a window mesh to actually get a permit for it, although I provided some pictures and addresses for other businesses around me that had them. So I kept asking, how are they able, what process did they go through? I want to go through the same thing. And it seems like room 426, 425, 400, 301, 300, nobody knows how these businesses got it and how they can help me to get it. And I did bring an example for one of the locations with an address and a couple of pictures. So I'm still working on that one because I paid a lot for that mesh window sticker, and I got a lot of complaints about, yes, the windows are clear, you could see, but it was always chips racks and things like this. So after the neighborhood asked me to make them look nicer, I mean, the only thing I can come up with is the mesh window. We could see outside. You cannot see inside unless it's nighttime. Then it becomes very light and you can see inside. Since then, everybody complimented how nice it looks. The intersection got better, and my business picked up in general. Now, as far as the swisher and all these problems, that's one of the biggest issues that we're having right now. I took it out about 7-8 days ago, and we closed that section up. We're waiting for the hearing. And since then, my business went down a good $400 to $500 a day. Now, I'm not saying it's directly for the swisher sale. It's for the customers that do come in, buy everything, including that, and that's including some of my neighbors that I actually asked for them to come today and talk about it. I still don't understand how every other business, including a couple of 100 feet or yard behind me, 3-4 businesses, Quick Trip next to me, 7-Eleven, they are able to sell it, and I can't. My business looks better than a Quick Trip. I have put my life saving in there because I am from the neighborhood. I remember talking to you guys. I kept all my promises. I never sold glass pipes, roses, none of this stuff. What I understood from the meeting was those were the conditions I wasn't supposed to do, which is sell the glass pipes, anything that is drug related. In extension to or an add-on to, which is the blunt and switch, I never knew about that until that letter came in. And I talked to my alderwoman, Carol Howard. She promised me she was going to work with me to work with the city and get something done until today in the morning. And today when she texted me, she said there's nothing she could do. So I've been trying to take care of most of these problems. One of the suggestions that I got from room 425 was to go ahead and apply for another business license. And on this one, try to not have these conditions. Another one was you're going to have to go to this hearing and ask the board if they could take that condition out. Now, as far as since August till now, every time I went to 425 and 426, they told me wait for this hearing. So that's why I haven't took the stickers out. If I must, I will, because this is what you guys are asking for. But seeing other businesses are able to do it, I want to go through the legal process, find out how they did it, fill out the same paperwork, and do it. But when I went there to room 400 and tried to apply, they said the sign was too big and I couldn't do it, although other businesses are doing it. They wouldn't give me any detail on how to do it. So I would love to see if I could do that. If I can't and I must take these out, I will take it out. Now, my only issue here today is I hope you guys understand that not everybody uses these for drugs, and everybody else is selling it around me. It will hurt my business big time. And I personally feel like the work I have done there, the amount of money I spent in the store, and the look that I presented in the neighborhood made a big impact. And everybody is very happy. The intersection looks a lot better. I've done all the changes. I followed all of the rules, and everything you guys asked me, I've been going through it. I recently just took over the store 100% as far as management and everything else since actually July 1st. So whatever you guys want me to do, I'm 100% here, and I want to see what I could do to keep staying in business. I mean, that's my entire life saving, plus a lot of borrowed money to have a business in my own neighborhood that the kids around the neighborhood can go to when they can't go to any other business because they don't feel as safe. And I brought a couple of neighbors. Hopefully they could testify to what I'm saying, and you guys can help me, guide me in the right way, and see if I can keep that business open.
So, just a couple things.
So,
This board makes a decision based on the conditional use permit that we issued to you.
yes,
And the zoning inspector is the field representative who goes out in the field
Yes.
to inspect and ensure that you're in compliance with these conditions, right?
Yes.
So it sounds to me like you've taken some steps to move into compliance.
Yes.
But it also sounds to me like we still have a couple of issues that are there that we need to work through. Does that sound right?
yes, sir.
Okay. So if I asked you, are you as a business owner willing to continue to work with the city, the zoning inspector, and get this matter resolved in a compliant manner, how would you answer that?
200%.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Yes, I just had a comment. I mean, I've been on this board for a while, and what we're always looking for are the facts. We're looking for a long list of communication that the person with the conditional use permit has done. And arguably, and this has nothing to do with what this board decides, but what you gave us is exactly what we're looking for. That's some of the most information I've ever heard from somebody standing there. So it sounds like regardless of 5, 6, and 7, you're making every effort with the alderwoman, room 426, room 425, room 400. You can't make that stuff up. So following along with the president's question of you, it sounds like you've made an earnest effort. You disagree with some of the process. And what I found interesting, my question now is, when you mentioned possibly getting the new business license without that condition, Do you remember who specifically you might have talked to in one of those offices?
Room 425. I can't remember names.
That's fine.
Yeah, but every person in there knows me because I've been coming here so much since July and August.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going back to my initial comment. I appreciate all the legwork you've done because, like I said, you can't make that stuff up because we know. And we'll see where this goes. But it's better than somebody up there just continues to defy the conditions that they must meet as a business.
Thank you. When I came here today, I was a little upset with all the things going on and the effort I tried and not get any result. But I'm very happy to meet you guys again and see that you guys do really care about the city and my business. So it means a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions from the board? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If there's anyone else opposing this revocation that wishes to testify at this time, please come forward and be sworn in.
Right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your name for the board, please.
My name is Thomas Franklin. I live at 4308 Chippewa Street, right next to the store. And I've suffered strokes and everything. And the store.
Take your time, sir. We got time. No problem. Just relax.
The store is very convenient for me. That's where I get everything. I'm so sorry. But it's convenient to me. I live next door, and the store is down the street, the big store. And then I have to pay for exercise tag for somebody else to go get what I need. So I get my stuff right next to me. And I speak for the good neighbors that live by me. And I speak for them. They say the store is very convenient. And I smoke the watermelon switches to keep me from smoking 2 packs of cigarettes. So I find that convenient for me, and that's why I get it. I got COPD and everything else. Granted, I shouldn't be smoking, but I've been smoking since 15, and my nerves ain't too good. So I utilize that. I don't smoke weed or nothing. I don't do no drugs. And I really depend on this store being there. I really do. So out of all gratitude, I hope you guys see things in the way of the store to where I won't have to utilize assets I don't have. But I appreciate very much. I speak for the neighborhood, and I thank you.
Questions from the board? Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
If anyone else is opposing the revocation that wishes to testify, please come forward.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God.
State your name for the board, please.
Alina Hagan. I live in the neighborhood, and as Thomas said, Johnny's is just very convenient for the neighborhood and has helped improve the neighborhood. When I first moved in 2 years ago in October, the neighborhood wasn't as good. There was nowhere nearby to get anything that you needed. You had to go all the way down to Shop and Save or go all the way down to the other gas station that was another half mile. There was just nothing around, and it has definitely helped with the convenience and just help improve the neighborhood overall. It has provided a safe place for parents to go with their kids to get what they need. Or, you know, I've seen while I'm there, parents will send their older children there to go get them like milk or bread or anything they may need. And it's just really helped to improve the neighborhood, in my opinion.
Questions from the board? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If there's anyone else present opposing this revocation who wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do. My name is Kyle Reynolds. How do you do? I've been living in the southern part of St. Louis for the last 2 years. Both of them have already spoken just about everything that has to be said about it. It's been a positive impact on our community. We have a store that's close for family, children, and I think that its continuation would be great. Thank you.
Questions from the board? Thank you very much. If there's anyone else opposing this revocation that wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, at this time I would like to introduce the zoning inspector's report into evidence as item A for today's hearing. The matter concerning hearing number 8221 is now closed and submitted. The board will now proceed with its regular agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Here.
Director Wilson.
Here.
Director Hayes.
Here.
Director Augustin.
Here.
Director Aragy is excused. Director Edwards.
Here.
And President Bradley.
Here we have a quorum. I'll call a meeting in order.
From the President, plans and specifications for letting number 8674, improvement at Fox Park, Conference Station roof repair, and ADA renovation, St. Louis, Missouri. PSA number 1220, update to the airport pavement management plan at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. From the Directors of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits for AT&T be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Manhole in the westbound curb lane of 5007 Natural Bridge. Fiber will be bored north 140 feet, then west under southbound lanes of Kings Highway for 55 feet, then north 244 feet, then west on San Francisco for 142 feet, then onto property of 3737 North Kings Highway. Bore and 2 4-inch conduit, 2-inch conduit with a 48 fiber cable. Stored in an AT&T manhole at the front of 1825 North Sarah and continue 193 feet west on Garfield to an AT&T manhole at the rear of 1825 North Sarah. From this location, continue west on Garfield 217 feet to the east of 4146 Garfield on Belglade Avenue. From this location, continue north 78 feet to the front of 4146 Garfield. From this location, continue 156 feet west to the west side of 4146 Garfield to an AT&T manhole. From this location, bore and place a 24 fiber 70 feet south down the alley to the side of 4146 Garfield. Bore and place 80 feet of fiber starting at the existing AT&T manhole located at the rear of 2650 Olive. From this manhole, bore west across Beaumont and down the alley to the rear of 2708 Olive. Start from an existing AT&T manhole located at the rear of 2935 Locust on the east side of Garrison at the alley between Locust and Washington and Bore, and place one fiber cable west across Garrison down alley for 171 feet, turning south 4 feet, entering property at the rear of 3015 Locust. Starting at manhole at 4280 Washington, bore 825 feet to new 2 by 3 by 2 feet handhole at 4224 Washington. From new handhole, bore 620 feet to new 3 by 5 by 3 feet handhole at 4205 Olive. From handhole at 4205 Olive, dig 1 feet to new 4 by 4 pad with fiber distribution box. Also from handhole at 4205 Olive, bore fiber from multiple riser pole locations. from manhole near 6405 Manchester, bore 176 feet to a 3 by 5 by 3 feet handhole at same address on PRT 4. From this handhole at 6405 Manchester, dig 4 feet before continuing into easement. From new fiber box will be placed in easement, etc. Joint recommendation that the following charter applications be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. To cut a 2 feet by 2 feet pothole at the base of the pole, second pole back off Manchester next to the parking lot of 5757 Manchester on Pierce Avenue. Bore in a southbound direction 64 feet toward Manchester in the right-of-way on Pierce Street. Bore an additional 281 feet in the right-of-way on Manchester in the eastbound direction and then turn onto private property at that point between 5733 and 5741 Manchester. Starting at the pole at 4040 Bingham, bore along Bingham 78 feet and set a vault in the sidewalk. Starting from vault, bore across Bingham 60 feet, ending at 4041 Bingham. Starting at existing manhole at 1320 Locust, bore fiber west down Locust to existing manhole behind 1501 Washington. From manhole, bore into building 1501 Washington. Joint recommendation that the following permits for Union Electric be approved, subject to certain conditions. To install electric line underground to provide power to light fixtures to transmission tower, which is part of a project at 3400 RN Wharf Street, vacated Andrew Ross Street. Overhang wires over St. Louis City property to connect the transmission tower being constructed to help facilitate new terminal railroad bridge by removing existing transmission lines at 3400 RN Wharf Street, and to construct new conduit duct banks within 18th Street, Clark, 16th Street. It would be approximately 2,400 linear feet to open trench construction. From the Director of Public Utilities and Public Safety, joint recommendation that Park 10 Development LLC to re-subdivide land at 10,000 through 04, 10,006 through 08, 10,012, 10,016 rear, 10,018, 10,020, and 10,022 through 24 Park, 1408 through 10, and 1412 Menard, and City Block 390 be approved subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Streets, recommendation that D.B. Cooper's Safe House to encroach with Sidewalk Cafe with 2 tables and benches utilizing 200 square feet with liquor at 6109 Gravois be approved subject to certain conditions. Recommendation that Joe Pentland to encroach with temporary fencing at 1500 Tower Grove Avenue be filed by reason of the fact that the applicant just needs to obtain a blocking permit from the street department. A BPS encroachment permit is not needed. From the Director of Public Safety, recommendation that the following festival zones be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Christ Church Cathedral at 13th between Olive and Locust, September 29, 2018. Common Sound Festival at Marquette Park and South Compton between Merrimack and Osage, September 29, 2018. Rolling on the River for Backstoppers. Lenore K. Sullivan between Poplar and Locust, and Motorcycle Ride, September 29th, and Cyclist Ride, September 30th, 2018, through City Streets, September 29th and 30th, 2018. Holly Hill Grills at Wilmington between Lona and Marwina, October 7th, 2018. King to Queen Rosary Run at Old Cathedral Arch Grounds. Lenora K. Sullivan and St. Mary of Victory Street, October 13, 2018. Boo on Broadway, South Broadway between Blow and Robert, October 13, 2018. October Vets, Post 6, Clifton between Columbia and Magnolia, October 13, 2018. Mary Margaret's Daycare at Mardale between Watson and Childress, October 13, 2018. Ivanhoe Block Party, Ivanhoe between Scanlon and Bradley, October 14, 2018. Connection Block Party at Virginia between Haven and Crass, and Haven between Virginia and Alley, October 20th, 2018. Now we have the conditional uses.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Terrell Island, zoning plan examiner for the city of St. Louis, representing the building commissioner. Per board order number 766, transmitted herewith are recommendations for the following conditional use applications. Approval is recommended for one application, and that is 5300 Union Boulevard. Approval with conditions is recommended for 13 applications, and they are 4102 Shaw, 4301 Finney, 4015 Enright Avenue, 6920 Chippewa, 3356 South Jefferson, 3305 Washington Boulevard, 3883 Hartford Street, 1912 North Sarah Street, 9000 Riverview, 2817 Watson Road, 4301 Olive, 3522 Utah Street, and 1100 Lumiere Place. I request that these recommendations be approved as submitted. Are there any questions or comments about these applications?
Are there any questions from the board on the conditional uses? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
Motion to approve the conditional uses.
Moved in second for approval. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Aye. Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Ergy is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Conditional uses are approved. Hearing number 8221 for 4300 Chippewa, a convenience store with cooking, no liquor. We heard from the zoning inspector today that there are some definite improvements to the situation. There are still some what I would consider minor differences to what is shown in the conditional use permit. We heard from the conditional use permit holder that he has done the best job that he can to rectify the issues with the violations, but there are some questionable issues in his mind as to some of the items that are conditions within the permit itself. And then finally, we heard from 3 of the neighboring residents who testified that this is a good business, and obviously that's what we are looking to have in the city, is good businesses. And so with that, I'll open the floor up for discussion. If there's no discussion, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Based on the extensive testimony from the conditional use permit holder and what I would deem to be refreshing testimony from 3 folks in the neighborhood that are around that business, I feel we should give, and especially since part of the testimony back in June involved the owner of a Yusuf Amar and the explanation of who's running the store, the business now. I feel it's incumbent upon the board, and I make a motion that we give the current conditional use permit holder ample time to get these matters rectified, which I feel he will. Time will tell. And I make a motion that we give him until the first Board of Public Service meeting in November to get that done, just a little bit longer than the standard 30 days.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Ergy is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Approved. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from last Tuesday, September 11th, 2018.
I don't know if it's even proper protocol, but you raised your hand, and I don't know if it's the right time. And Rich, well, hold up.
How about
I'm
we
not
do
sure if
this?
it's-
Let us finish our meeting, and then we can chat with you afterwards, okay?
Jack, Rich,
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
no problem. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from last Tuesday, September 11th, 2018. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Moved in second for approval. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Aye. Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Urgy is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, the minutes are approved. Turn your attention to our minutes from our special meeting, which was Friday, September 14th, 2018. Are there any questions or comments on those minutes? Seeing none, take a motion, please.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved in second for approval. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Abstain. Director Wilson.
Abstain.
Director Hayes.
Abstain.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Urgy is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, the minutes are approved. Today's agenda, questions or comments on that agenda?
Yes, Mr. President, I believe that we had some discussion with respect to what we should do with respect to the Walter Rodriguez encroachment of the garage. I thought that we had a discussion that we would consider dismissing without prejudice. I thought it would appear on the agenda today.
Okay. So are you making that motion?
I am making the motion at
Do I
this
have a
time.
second to that motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Aye. Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Urgy is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, approved. Today's agenda. Any other questions or comments on the agenda?
President Bradley, the secretary said that Ms. Director Erke is excused, so the agenda might reflect that. Is there no plan to reflect it?
Director, yes, she did. She sent us. She sent an excuse letter.
Okay, we just might want to put it on.
She. Well, okay. Okay.
She just wants to know that.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing now, take a motion to approve today's agenda, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Aye. Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Urgy is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, today's agenda is approved. Motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.